Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a read for you today. I'm going to do the Divine Feminine, which is really cool this morning. I got a lot of code messages today for the Divine Feminine read, and I'll also do the Divine Masculine read for today, and Oracle cards at the end. And I'm going to get right into that. I'm going to show you the pictures first of the two reads. This is the Divine Feminine for this morning. Okay. And this is the Divine Masculine for this morning. Overall, the energy was definitely darker for the Divine Masculine this morning. When I first put the read out, I was definitely feeling the Divine Masculine more depressed. And a lot of the, actually the read from the Divine Feminine was a lot about the Divine Masculine, or it was really about masculine energy in her life. So take it as it fits in your life, okay? I watched a movie last night called The Keeping Hours, which I did cry for a minute at the end, but it was about, you know, a couple who had lost a child and how the spirit brought them back together, you know, the otherworldly kind of things. So that was the message about. It wasn't so much about the loss of the child, but the bringing the parents back together and the etheric world, basically. So I liked it, but if you don't want to cry, don't watch it. It'll probably make you cry. Okay. So today is September 21st, 2018, and the 21 is the world. It's the 3 of coming together, right, out in the world. It's about the 1 of the masculine energy on the inside, so being very focused and direct, and then the 2 feminine energy on the outside coming out as a 3, which is very social and has to do with coming together with siblings as well, and friends, and just expressing yourself just the way you want to. The day adds up to 41, which is the Ace of Cups, which is a 5. The Ace of Cups obviously is not a 5, but 41, 5, which is expansion, excitement, change. It's again the masculine energy on the inside with stability and structure on the outside, being a very responsible person on the outside, is the Ace of Cups. Because it's really about self-love. It's about focus on yourself and being responsible for yourself. So the Ace of Cups and the world. So loving yourself out in the world. So actually taking it out into practicality. And how good have you become at staying present in your moment and not being triggered and just staying at 0 point. So it's kind of challenging you to go out into the world at this point. But in very positive energies. Ace of Cups in the world are very positive. You could also be closing up something with the world energy. Could it be an end to something, an end of a cycle, but nothing negative. As soon as I started the Divine Feminine read today, I got Master of the House, and both reads were all about the same kings. It was King of Pentacles, King of Wands. The Emperor comes up a bit too, and about children. It was definitely father-son issues, okay, for the Divine Masculine especially. I also felt stubbornness coming through in the Divine Feminine cards today. The major arcana were Hanged Man and Indigo, which is the Magician. There were 2 cups, 4 pentacles, so it's very much about business, which is funny because I woke up thinking about my website and things like that, business related. 2 of Cups, 4 Pentacles, 2 Swords, 1 Wand, and the court cards were King of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. In the coding, the numbers that came up were unusual today. We got some big numbers today, 9, 75, and 65, as well as 10, 40, which was really cool today. Okay, so 9, 75, 65, and 10, 40, as well as 24, 21, 55, 66, and 56. And actually 65, yeah, 65 we have too. 65 is actually the King of Pentacles, which also came up as a court card. So So it's very heavy on King of Pentacles today for both reads, actually. So that's about mastering your finances, right? So my codes had everything to do with karmic completion today. Okay, and there was a lot of ending energy. 10 of Swords energy, 10 of Cups energy, 10 of Pentacles energy. There's no major 10 of Wands, but I believe the 10 of Wands was in there too as clarification cards too. So all the 10 cards were out on the table. It's not so much endings about the Divine Feminine though, because her numbers are, you know, 3, 5, 6s, and 7s. So definitely for the Divine Masculine though is the new beginnings. We're definitely into the 1s and the 10s. The coding. So it was all about the 9, which is representative of the collective consciousness of the Divine Feminines inside of their Divine Masculines, okay? Expanding the King of Pentacles, or the stir of energy involving the King of Pentacles, which is all about your business dealings and your money and your energy. But it all has to do with the karmic completion cycle. So it's very much, King of Pentacles, it can represent the Divine Feminine as well, but I was definitely getting a ton of masculine energy in the Divine Feminine read today. So it's either someone around you or your Divine Masculine, this King of Pentacles, expanding all about energy and money in order to complete some kind of karmic cycle. Okay, but the Divine Feminine, the reason why it's so heavy and masculine is because it's all about the Divine Feminine steering the Divine Masculine in the 5D. She is his heart. Okay, so it's about you staying strong for him so he can get his completion done. Also with the numbers, I was looking up things that had to do with, well, 975 can be a type of silver, right? A percentage of silver. It's also a lot of different radio stations, one of which is in my area that my son used to work at, the Fanatic. So Fanatic is coming up. And it was interesting the numbers that came up because it was a lot about my son. The Fanatic, which is here, and then also Kansas City came up, which is in Missouri, which is where he lives, and then also Phoenix came up where my daughter used to live. But he was just visiting with us there. So also a master lock came up. All right, so mastering your lockdown basically. And also 51 millimeters came up with master lock, and 2. So it's to do with the High Priestess and the King of Swords. All right. So locking down your psychic abilities and being, you know, logical when you're around other people, staying conscious. It was also about the Divine Feminine, you know, locking down waiting as the expansion of the King of Pentacles. There, and again, the aster flower came up. The stirring of the crystals came up, but also the aster, the flowering of the energy, or the expansion of finances, has to do with the karmic completion. But there's another reason why the aster flower came up today. But again, we're showing the relationship between the Divine Masculine as the King of Pentacles and the Divine Feminine being the heart. So the aster, I said, is the yellow to the orange center of the Divine Masculine, being that, you know, violet, the violet petals coming out from the heart. So also getting that the 9s, and I always get S9 for Sophia 9, okay? So the even, IV fire, so you know how an IV is even, it's an even flow, slow flow of Christ consciousness fire, okay? Love expands, flower of life, I, Sophia, is the message that was coming up. Love expands this flower of life, the two of you together, the heart of the Divine Feminine expanding and allowing the Divine Masculine to go out into his higher consciousness, using an even flow of fire, so not allowing yourself to get triggered, basically, staying at 0 point, and allowing, you know, to the 0, 1, 0, 1, allow a little bit of fire at a time, okay? Coming back to 0, coming back to 0, just touch out a little bit if you need to practice, and then come right back to 0 point. It's all about staying in that consciousness to expand this flower, okay? And it was definitely coming as a message from I, Sophia, okay? So, which is, for those of you who aren't familiar with Sophia, it's considered the feminine Godhead, basically, the feminine energy of God. So, and it doesn't matter your interpretation of it, but this is the energy I'm getting for her, okay? So also, right after I got these messages, I was guided to write down, I had looked into how many days it was, you know, since I had met my twin, just trying to calculate something. And for some reason that came up again, and I wrote down the 3 years to add the number, you know, the 3 years, what they add up to again, but also was just getting to write down 3 months, 3 years and 3 months, which would be 33, which is the Christ vibration, 3 years and 3 months. And for me, that comes up to October 2nd, 2018, which is coming up. And the reason I was guided to 10-2 was because it's the birthday of a Pentecost that I know, because Pentecost was meant to come up, which was a really cool way into it. But it's also 1188 days for me, from the time I met my twin to October 2nd, 2018. 1188, okay? And it's Pentecost. So then I go into the definition of Pentecost. Okay, so it's the celebration of the coming of the Holy Spirit. And it defines it as 40 days after Easter. And remember, the number 1040 came up, and 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, 40 is the Page of Cups. And, you know, it's all about the 40 days and 40 nights. So, also comes up with Pentecost is the, it's the 7th Sunday after Easter. Okay, the 49 days, right? So it's celebrated the 10 days after the 40 days, which is basically 49 to 50 days, because they count the next Sunday as well. So it's 7 Sundays, 7 weeks from Easter, which is also called Whit Sunday, coming from actually wit, which is understanding. So when I looked up Pentecost, not only was this definition, but then there was an entry for 9 key things to know about Pentecost. And the different sites I looked these things up were ChristianToday.com came up, as well as the other ones. I think I have the next page, but I'll tell you the other sites as well. But they were just in the, I'm not going into the sites except for this 9 keys to know about Pentecost, but you can just look that up, it'll come up. So, and being that 9 came up in the coding today, and 40 came up in the coding today, okay, I looked up the 9 key things to know about Pentecost. Alright, so the first one is that Pentecost means 50, 50th day after the Sabbath and Passover week. Okay, so now there's a Jewish website having to do with the Feast of Weeks. Number 2 was that wit means understanding, basically, that when God poured out wisdom of the Spirit. 3 was a debate about speaking in tongues, from Luke, Acts 2, verse 1 through 13. Okay, so we're bringing up speaking in tongues. Number 4 was that Pentecost is fulfillment of 2 promises. The first one was from the New Testament, one from the Old Testament. The first was from Joel 2, verse 28, I will pour out my Spirit on all people. And then John 16, 5 to 15, Jesus says he will send another counselor, the Spirit of Truth. You know, and here we have Sophia coming up in the coding, right? So number 5 is gifts of the Spirit, which had to do with tongues or direct experience with God. It's not only tongues, but some kind of very personal and direct experience with God. And number 6 was there was wind. So this is from Luke and Ezekiel 37. Power of God to bring life to the dry bones of faith. Okay, so breathing life back into someone. And then 7 was about tongues of fire. And this is Matthew 5:14 and John 8:12. Jesus says, "You are the light of the world." And the other, he says, "I am the light of the world." And a single flame in Acts that separates and symbolically rests on each of them, the disciples, will do what Jesus said. Okay? So Jesus symbolically rests a flame that separates into 2 flames on each of them. The disciples will do what Jesus did. Number 8 was and other languages from Genesis 11, breaking down the barriers between people at Pentecost, where all are understood. So whereas tongues may not have been able to have been understood, now at Pentecost, all of a sudden, everyone understood each other. Okay, so it's about breaking down all the barriers and spirits connecting with me. Number 9, the last one, marks the start of Christianity. Okay, so Peter, and that day Peter preached to about 3,000, and there was about 3,000 that were baptized. So this was just what this website listed as the 9 key things to know about Pentecost. So, and it was very cool. It was about, it brings up twin flames. It brings up about bringing everyone together so they speak the same language. Whether it was Jewish or Christian didn't matter, because Easter means Passover. Okay? It's the same. It's just, Passover is the word used in other languages, so let's all speak the same language. Okay? So Passover is considered in Judaism the celebration of the redemption from Egypt. Okay. So then I also saw, and this was at 9:09 this morning, what came up from the coding was the 5 of Cups from the crystalreflections.com deck. And the definition of it: disappointment is the result of emotional attachment to an expectation that has gone unfulfilled. The negative mind views this as a loss, and the outcome is sadness and heartache, which takes a while to heal. Okay, so it's expressing again to remind us it's a negative perspective. It doesn't have to be. So let's all get on the same page about perspective. Another site that came up was structural isomers, which was scientific, obviously, from www, I can't say that fast, cpp.edu. And it just mentioned in the header just how many structures can you make from a simple formula, from one idea, getting on the same page. And it's coming from lecture 6, and 6 is love. It was just number 1, which was methane, which was described as CH4, and then it was written out CHHHH, and then CH4 again, and then CH4 again, so it was repeating it. And then transcribed into numbers for me was 38888. Okay? Which is like the Queen of Cups, representative of the Divine Feminine, back to 0 point, back to 0 point, back to 0 point, back to 0 point. And it was interesting too, because the second one they were talking about was pentane, and it didn't go into it because it just was ... afterward, but it did come up with C5H12, and as soon as I saw C5H12, I was getting Christianity 5, Hebrew 12. So just maybe a different way of writing the same thing, right? As 5 is where we get the expansion, and then 12 is where we get those end of the cycle expansions. You have to expand when you change cycles. So then there was another entry about why is the flower 5-petaled. Okay, and it said it was that a flower is most likely to be 5, and then 6 petals, and then 4 petals, but is unstable at 4, and almost no flower can be 7-petaled, except the aster family, okay, which is the flower that came up again in the codes, which is under the category of 7 or more petals, which almost no flower is, okay? And then divergence came up, because there was an example of 144 degrees being 2/5 of 360 degrees. And it was showing divergence of leaves, and how when a leaf goes off, the divergence of that leaf having other spirals within it, creating, more leaves going outward, breaking apart from the center, which is the, definition of divergence, an inclination away from a common point, or spreading apart. So the theme here, you see, doesn't matter what's coming up, it's all about people getting on the same page. Doesn't matter the words used or the numbers used, everyone's all about love. And when I was writing down the 144 degrees, the 2/5 of 360s, I was trying to figure something out, and that ended up writing down, like the circle for pi, except of course 2/5 isn't going to have a line down the middle like pi does, because pi is the circle and then the diameter. So I ended up drawing a circle with 5 parts, which looks like a pie. So I wrote down a pie next to it, literally P-I-E, looks like a pie that you would eat. So I'm wondering if pi is supposed to come up again today. All right, so this continues. So then we get into the read. And as soon as I start the read for the Divine Feminine, I get the games begin. And it's funny, it comes right up after Divergence, because it sounds like one of their movies, right? So number 27 comes up here, and number 57 also. So if you have, and I wrote 27/57, which is literally the 2/5 if you take out both 7s. And Divergence again. So the games begin. As the King of Pentacles is knocked off of his throne, as he protects his lady's face. So there's an identity covered up. But the King of Pentacles is knocked off his throne. Then I was getting, for the Divine Feminine, the higher you get, the faster you ascend. So the higher you get in frequency and vibration, the faster you then ascend. So it becomes exponential, okay? So being present, the Queen of Cups offers a new life of money, a new life or money, so it could be a loan involved or a new life, to her lover for a passionate new beginning. And this was also the face of the person that was being hidden underneath. This King of Pentacles being dethroned, basically. So it was the same. It was the Queen of Cups under there, and here we have the Queen of Cups again, showing her offering of a new life to her lover. Or it could be, a loan of money or energy, okay? But offering this, it was very beautiful energy. The Queen of Cups offering the Ace of Pentacles to her lover, so these were 3 cards in a row, with a passionate new beginning of growing roots upward, creating opportunity to learn, okay, or co-creating. Deception was out at the new moon, leading the way. But then the King of Pentacles knocked off his high horse by the King of Wands. And now there can be different dynamics depending on your situation. And it doesn't have to be earth signs and fire signs. It's just the energy of the King of Pentacles, okay, who's very well-to-do and grounded, okay. And then the King of Wands, oh, I wonder if that's supposed to come up. The King of Wands, who is very much the man of passion, okay. But I was getting a specific father and son relationship between the Divine Masculine and his father. It could also be a Divine Masculine and their child, but I was specifically getting the Divine Masculine and their father, okay? And it can even be, it doesn't have to be a father-son, but this is the energy I was getting. The Emperor does come up in the clarifications, and the Empress comes up in the read as well. I don't know if this one, but definitely in the Divine Masculine read. But anyway, in both reads, we have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, okay, and then the Empress and the Emperor in there as well. So leading the way, but then knocked off his high horse by the King of Wands, which I was getting as the father energy, but put it into whatever fits for you, okay? I was getting that the King of Pentacles is now reduced to a Knight of Pentacles, you know, like the father putting him in his place, and now he feels like a little kid, because the Page of Pentacles was also coming up. For the Divine Feminine, trust comes up, to have faith, okay? You have a full moon coming up here, so there may be news that will trigger you. So you're being warned that you may be receiving triggering news, so that you will be able to stay at 0 point or walk away from the situation and not react to it. Okay? The Divine Feminine's left knee is exposed, which has to do with anger. And it was coming up and related to handouts to the Divine Masculine. Hurting each other by hurting yourself. With sweet judgment at the full moon, the lobster finds his pearl, away from the parties in a quiet place. For the Divine Feminine, the underlying energy was physical activity, so something you've been doing, possibly even physical this week, or just getting errands done, that kind of thing. But you could have been doing working out, anything that's physical. Okay, so I was getting a happy family and being like a busy little bee with an eye on self-love, away from the family, knocked off his high horse, uninspired and frustrated, trying to hold on to their savings. I was getting, and this could be the feminine too, if you have, especially if you have a lot of masculine in you, but I was getting this father-child energy, okay? So his father has knocked him down to size to start over like when he was a boy, clinging to every penny and balancing girl time and money time after dropping a load and not getting any satisfaction. He is ascending, balancing, and saving. In the foundation for the Divine Feminine, I was getting withdrawal, literally withdrawal symptoms of the Divine Masculine. So you may be feeling this. Could be the Divine Feminine too, if you have a lot of Divine Masculine or you're in your masculine. But it was all about withdrawal, because it was very negative, but it was about the Hangman being in his anger. All right, there's a right knee block there still, but like just sitting in all this negative clarification energy, okay? Detoxing, which was positive, but painful, with jealousy, negative self-talk, not in their truth, and possibly being negative, and not getting along, or not doing well at work, immature remarks, and spying on third parties or spying on each other. Or a Divine Masculine has just quit the job, cold turkey, with an opportunity to ascend on a different path away from oversight of the King of Wands on his own. So again, this is very much about the Divine Masculine breaking out on his own. So if he leaves a job or just changes the job so that he's no longer being overseen by someone else, okay? Some of the energies that were coming up between the major arcana and just in general that I was picking up on were Aries, Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Pisces for the Divine Feminine read. And right at 10:10, when I wrote this new message, it was about the central issue for the Divine Feminine. It has to do with conflict over death of a salesman, which just came up this week. The end of karmic opportunities of justice and jealousy. So it's kind of like not really opportunities, okay? So, but it's the opportunity that a salesman, you know, would look for. You know, constant change and manipulation of people. You know, when you sell, it's manipulating. So this is death of a situation where the Divine Masculine is not in their truth, you know, or work that's not in their truth, because they're constantly manipulating people. Okay, and justice and jealousy is coming up. The challenge being is the King of Pentacles. After rising above the Emperor without options, it was like an emperor or a father figure, it could be a boss as well, gave him no options. I was getting the Emperor so jealous that he doesn't hold the world in his hand, but knows that the King of Pentacles does. Like, even though he's been knocked off his throne now, it's because, and this is only one of the scenarios, it's because the Emperor's jealous that this King of Pentacles does have all this potential and he doesn't, okay? So now this Magician or Indigo Child, so now this I'm getting it specifically for this father and son situation. But the Emperor could also be the Knight of, or the King of Pentacles. It could be the Divine Masculine doing this to himself, okay? And it could also be, you know, other situations where siblings, but definitely, you know, if the Emperor and a King is coming up, it's usually an age difference. So now the Magician or Indigo Child frees themselves from karmic ties to conflict, free from a King of Wands reversed anger, trapped under water without a way out, except an Empress holding money for him. And it could be her money or his money that she's hiding for him. So it could be the mother. I'm getting the Emperor as the father, the Empress is the mother here. Okay? So him seeing the only way out is possibly a mother giving him money or holding his money for him. I was getting justice and jealousy issues between the Magician and the Queen of Wands, so the karmic energy and the Divine Masculine. Very manipulative energy here. And I was getting the signs involved were fire signs, Libra and Scorpio in this situation. Somebody caught with their pants down, so it could be the karmic or the Divine Masculine, or a confession of suffering in another world, or unable to complete the world because of the suffering, transforming through a nightmare, literally, or a nightmare situation. There may have been a sudden death in the past, or a near-death experience for the Divine Masculine, as well as the Divine Feminine. This was coming up possible for both, but it's already passed. It's not something that I'm predicting. Soon for the Divine Feminine, lightning strikes. As Scorpio energy has distracted him, another has been taking his money. Offering a hand from the Divine Masculine and something healthy to a friend, causing deep transformation to independence and independent connection. There's a couple different scenarios here too as well. So it could either be shock, you know, total shock coming up, or sudden attack, but being able to stand your ground. So this could be for the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine, but this part I'm getting is the Divine Feminine. So it could be her, it has to do with healing and depression. So healing that depression and forgiving the Divine Feminine, her masculine and herself. But there's a shock again coming up. So I'm getting it, you know, at the full moon, there's a shock coming up for you guys. You know, sudden attack. Is there something, if there's something negative that's going to trigger you about your Divine Masculine, or just someone attacks you or approaches you, are you going to be able to stand your ground and stay at 0 point? And also then forgive. But also sudden epiphanies about childish behavior. And this is for both the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine. Sudden epiphanies about childish behaviors, sexual frustrations, and tantrums to get your way. But uninspired, some could be uninspired to stand up for their truth, or be just being defensive, or to stand your ground, or their ground, okay? It's about healing the separation pain, okay? From self. It's always about separation from self, okay? Because if you're feeling separated from your Divine Masculine, it's because you're separated from self. And you need to meditate, connect, and ground. Okay? Separated from your third energy in this emotional affair. Okay? So 1 minute giving to others for the Divine Masculine was feeling this. 1 minute giving to others, and the next minute, and it can be Divine Feminine as well, the next minute alone and independent. Okay? So 1 minute you're in this one life, and you were giving to others and being a good person, and the next minute you're alone, but independent in happy surroundings. More in alignment with who you are, but yet alone. And then at that moment, the bird hit the window. That was 10:37. All right, and that was representative of the bird, right? The feminine energy hitting the window. And it was so funny because the bird sat on the chair afterwards, and he was sitting there for minutes. I don't know how long he was there. I know it was at least 2-3 minutes he was still there. I didn't look back after that, but he was just standing there on the chair. I guess he must have been dazed. Taking a break on the chair, but he was okay. He needed a knock on the head to snap out of it. Okay, so this was a message for the Divine Feminine. Sometimes you need a hit on the head to snap out of it, to come back to what's important, right? So the Divine Feminine is the Queen of Cups here. She's in her energy, okay? After present in her knowing, in her loving, nurturing, and intuitive self. and working on her details of alignment. Okay, so it was nothing but positive energies in the way the Divine Feminine was seeing herself. It was very good. However, soon with this full moon, it was saying, be careful of going into separation again. No matter what the news is, trust and have faith that if you get knocked down, you'll get right back up. And you will not allow reaction, okay? You react with yourself, not to others. Okay? And if someone's attacking you, don't look eye to eye with them, just disconnect yourself. All right, this is all around the full moon energy, which we're getting very much into right now. It's the 21st, and the full moon, I think, is the 24th, if I'm correct. So the Divine Feminine, well, around you, for the Divine Feminine, could be some cold, harsh truth. So just be ready and know, and just be okay with it, okay? It's about trust and faith. Clear blocks of moving forward, working, proposing something practical, walking away from conflict, being patient, spiritual, and feeling sad when needed, but don't think of practicality as a lack of love. So don't feel sad if your Divine Masculine offers you something practical. It doesn't mean it's not love, because everyone expresses things in different ways. This is seeing things in the same way. People have different languages, but we can all get on the same page about love. Karmic completion comes up for the Divine Feminine. Okay, it was all about being done with karma. So if you've been in a marriage and trying to get out of it, so same thing on the feminine side as the masculine, karmic completion. Wrapping things up with the karma that's no longer for your highest good in your life. Taming the beast of a romantic tie, so it can be a karmic tie or your Divine Masculine. Finding peace in comforting a soulmate, a friend, while maintaining your independence. So practicing your sovereignty. Can I still be friends with an ex-partner and still maintain my independence? And if you can't, it's an energy you need to discharge from. All right? Boldly moving, traveling, and choosing paths out in the world for the Divine Feminine. Finding peace. Without necessarily structure or connection to others. This is why you have to become sovereign on your own and be happy, or at least satisfied with your independence and your own creature comforts. Making your environment just as you want it to be, to make you happy. What do you like to do and be around? Okay. So finding peace in your heart, because your heart is your home, not the structure. Enjoying just being. Opportunities for balance and wisdom, to be loving and intuitive, and be in your intuition and your knowing at the full moon, because some truth may zap your light for a moment. To reset conflict with the King of Pentacles, separation or heartbreak, and proposal to manifest peace in your heart. So there could be some kind of offer. Maybe it's not what you want or expect. So are you going to allow that to knock you off balance, okay? And remember that the home isn't the stability, the heart is the stability. Climb without showing face to balance. So for some, you may not want to show your face through the full moon, okay, to keep your balance. The right knee block for the Divine Masculine, the King of Pentacles, was showing the conflict in his life right now with karmic Queen of Wands. Manipulation and jealousy, difficult indigo child, or a Divine Masculine freeing himself from anger and or exhaustion, or possibly a child running away from home. The Divine Feminine heals and forgives to find peace in her heart, feeling desolate and alone. The King of Pentacles, or Divine Masculine, or someone else around the Divine Feminine, makes peace in an offering to the Divine Feminine's heart. So it could be in the physical or in the etheric realms, okay? Then I was getting, that's what came up, that September 23rd is Padre Pio Feast Day. I was looking at the calendar, what holidays and things were coming up. So the 23rd, for some reason, was coming up as significant. because again, that was the first day of July 23rd of, am I remembering correctly, the Syrian calendar? But it was the marking the end of a year and the beginning of a new year, July 23rd. So the 23rd is coming up again, and of course this is the solstice, so it's important anyway. Also, something came up in my email that said Bi-Union Pacific. Bi-Union Pacific. Okay. So, and I'd also seen a train today. So trains are and then Bi-Union Pacific. So it's about trains, and union were coming up in Pacific as well. So then I'm doing the Divine Masculine read. And right away, I don't say the F word, but it was cluster, F-U-C-K, okay? I was getting that immediately from the Divine Masculine's read. There was this Nine of Cups and King of Pentacles with a Knight of Swords energy. Very much about nasty energy. Okay? And then at 11:44, I got the church bells all were broken. And the three men, right after I listed the Nine of Cups and the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords, who could also all be three separate men, the three men I admired the most, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, they caught the last train for the coast the day the music died, okay? So we just got train and Pacific Coast again from this advertisement that I just saw, okay? So pretty cool. But this was having to do with the Divine Masculine read. The church bells all were broken, you know, from the day the music died, right? What's the title? American Pie. And I just drew a picture of a pie on the previous page. So everything kept connecting back and back and back, okay? So it was very cool in the coding today. So I don't know if Buddy Holly needs to come up or not, but it's not the specific message I was getting. So for the Divine Masculine, which the read was at 11:44, that's when I had completed it. The major arcana for the Divine Masculine were the Emperor, Alchemy, which is Temperance card, and Solar Deity, which is the Sun. There were 3 swords, 1 cup, 2 wands, 2 pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. I don't even know if I looked in the coding. I don't think I did. There was 1010 came up for Divine Masculine, as well as 3122. And just give me 1 second. I want to look at it real quick. Yeah, that's funny. Really, the coding, there were no numbers in the masculine read again, which I told you before has happened. And it was really about clearing for the hour of flames, which is the full moon. And expansion and change, okay? So make sure, and it was just 43, 43. 43 is the 3 of Cups energy, okay? Celebrations, and I'm actually going to a baby shower tomorrow, so there's definitely family and celebration type energy coming up. So again, all right, that was reiterating. This full moon is a powerful one, okay? So for the Divine Masculine, lightning strikes. After the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords reversed, can't get along at work, spouting off and possibly spying on each other, as the Divine Masculine tries to hide the Queen of Cups. Okay, now we're getting the same characters in this read as the other one. It's the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. The King of Cups and the King, and the karmic energy was coming up as well. It doesn't have to be their partner necessarily. But here I'm getting them as partners, whoever's working together. And I was getting like some of the karmics are working with their Divine Masculines, or it could just be another karmic that is working with the Divine Masculine. They're not getting along at work, spouting off and spying on each other, as the Divine Masculine tries to hide the Queen of Cups, or the Divine Feminine. With a little bit of illumination, there's a little bit of illumination out, but not enough to fully understand, as the Sphinx, and then I got Jinx, threatens the bird, or the feminine, who won't stop flapping her wings, or flapping her mouth, okay? So this is the coming up with the conflict energy at work, okay? So this Jinx comes up about from the Sphinx, and then a bird who won't shut up, okay? So feminine who won't shut up. Suddenly, the Divine Masculine has an idea on how to expose something, or a Leo with a big head also just decides to expose everything. The lovers are out, but the King of Cups was reversed, had detached, expressing feelings back and forth, feeling sexually frustrated and creatively blocked due to the negative past now being exposed. About broken hearts and separation. And the card Unrequited Love comes up for the Divine Masculine here as the underlying energy. Some of the signs from the major arcana, as well as just signs I'm picking up on during the read, had to do with Taurus, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, and possible Virgo. After confession to a false flame, the Queen of Wands I was getting, and I was literally getting a false flame in this read. He aligns with true romantic tie as the King of Wands becomes the King of Cups, but not knowing what to say. And he gets health card as the underlying energy. So his health has been an issue recently. And he doesn't know what to say in offering love. So what does he say now? Stubborn and not moving forward and detoxing. And I was getting a barrel of laughs. So obviously if someone's detoxing, they're not going to be a barrel of laughs. But I was also getting a barrel of monkeys. Okay. Standing on his past loves, or his laurels, with justice on his crown, as the Page of Pentacles starts over with a small opportunity. After sick of being patient, finding a way to alchemize divergence into an opportunity by exposing this past heartbreak. In the foundation, we have the Emperor, refusing to deal with his emotions, remaining blind to a child who may be inspired. So again, this could be Divine Masculine and his father. This father could care less what his psychic abilities are. He doesn't believe in that crap, right? But whose child is inspired. It also can be the Divine Masculine or a Karmic Masculine who refuses to feed into his child's inspiration or psychic abilities. Okay, so I'm getting literally, the Emperor refuses to deal with his own emotions, remaining blind to a child who is inspired, or his child. Centrally needing courage in a divorce or some kind of legal situation in order to implement changes, giving up on daydreams of Empress who betrayed him, fighting him tooth and nail about connecting to a Queen of Swords energy, challenged by, for the Divine Masculine, union or a home, being up at night, sneaking away to his love connection, who is honest and balanced. So it's literally was coming through as, you know, a lot of conflict during the day, fighting about the Divine Feminine, and then him connecting with the Divine Feminine at night, you know, when it's time to be still and the connection is made, who he sees as being at least honest and balanced. Now in his head and heart, ending the pain and betrayal, after working on aligning with the Queen of Cups in her intuition, as the King of Pentacles in union, finding peace and opportunity, instead of the man of passion being an angel to everyone except the one he loved, and her sweet judgment of him, staying present all the while. Soon, the Knight of Pentacles plans a surprise with the World in his right hand and the High Priestess having his back, not caring what anyone else says, especially the Emperor. He is Death of a Salesman, dumping 7 illusions to come together with his third energy, going through his suffering cycles. And he gets the cards, love yourself first, attraction, okay, there's a magnetic attraction here, and then stay optimistic about your love life. This was for the Divine Masculine. Around him, as he sees others dance under a full moon, is the sun. After healing and working like a dog for the devil, all is exposed. The Divine Masculine needs to clear blocks of possible shaman energy, or just the man of passion energy, because the King of Wands comes up here, his father, and needing to defend his independence with his life, not allowing father's feelings to affect him, okay? So maybe doing this out of defensiveness to his father, not wanting to be like his father, ends up being just like his father in that way, and needing to let go of that, okay? And I literally got, quote, unquote, the arrogant, the rich, and the nasty, as that 3 that I said was a cluster, F-U-C-K, okay? The arrogant, the rich, and the nasty, all controlled by the devil, or the dark energy, okay? Pride came up with this, is very important, and rebirth of the Divine Masculine. Okay, death of a salesman. Pride and rebirth. Looking for peace and a passionate reunion in order to offer love, but must get past the guard of the Empress reversed, taking him down in a split. So this could be mother energy, it also could be a karmic partner energy, continuing to offer him something he doesn't want, as he changes timelines to offer real family happiness and satisfaction as the King of Pentacles, with truth as his sidekick. The end to family shadow. And betrayal. I was definitely getting Cancer and Taurus energies coming up here as well. Cancer, Taurus energy in the nastiness. Still in duality consciousness, protecting self at all cost. It's a wake-up call to the sham fam, all right? So a family looks good on the outside but isn't really, about the dark. Destiny incomplete, hanging out in a prison, so it can be literal or figurative, left behind injured, unable to keep up, heartbreak from an emperor causing his suffering, exposed angel's sadness of union and or a home, of the King of Pentacles and King of Wands ending due to betrayal by family or betrayal of family who is dark. Okay, so this is very intense reads for the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine, but a lot of messages were coming through. So I also wanted to bring up my sand art, which I forgot to tell you about. I don't remember all the messages, but it was very much about shark energy. It's like one huge shark. Let me just pull it up real quick here. Yeah, actually the first one literally looks like a huge mother shark and a baby shark. But it's like a one-eyed shark, like so they've been damaged. They've been hurt. Or it could be just one white eye and one blue eye, but it's really like they're missing an eye. Or it could be a shark that's keeping their eye on you, right? Let me just go through really quick. Yeah, it's about what's coming up here too is a break between a parent and their child energy. Also, someone may have miscarried, like I brought up the other day, because there's some sadness there. And it's interesting, there's this huge shark and there's like a little pyramid in the background with kind of smoke coming up from the middle of it. So it could be a volcano as well. And I'm seeing 2 smoke stacks, so 2 volcanoes possible. Now I'm not seeing a huge eruption, but maybe they are, you know, there's some stuff coming out of it. It's not really low to the mouth though. It's shooting up straight. So think about this. If you have shark energy, who's already a shark, and they just lost a child, whether it's just because they moved out or they actually lost a child, how messed up they're going to be. And we have this full moon, okay? So that's the kind of energy we're dealing with, and this is why the warning is coming out. And it's not about to put anyone into fear. It's to you know, make sure you're ready to stay present and just be conscious. It's not about fear at all. The other people who may freak out are the ones in fear, and you just have to know that not everyone's going to be able to stay at their 0 point under the full moon. And it's like I love the analogy that that Spirit gives you sometimes for some of these things. It's like their guts are falling out of their brain or their brain's exploding. Okay? They just can't deal anymore. So this is the shark energy we're talking about. But then it's really cool because it ends up that the angel's wings are able to support the situation and keep people from fighting. Yeah, maybe just fist bumping, but no fighting. But I'm literally seeing an angel with using both their wings to keep the shark and the others apart. And it's also showing the angels, on the angel's back, the angels are bridging all this negative energy to allow ETs to land. And there's even like a spiritual grounding crew there. Yeah. Could just be drones too. So whenever there's a lot of angel energy, helicopters and drones. Yeah. And also seeing the pyramids. So, and the pyramid's been coming up a lot lately too about just Egypt in general, because it has to do with Atlantis and the falling away of the Atlantean timelines. But this is like this, I don't know if this is a catapult to that, this moon here, like to kind of get a whole bunch out at once, which I'm sure it is because we're transmuting. But I'm going to pull your oracle cards now as well. Okay, we have the Ascension deck. It's not bad today. I just feel like I haven't been feeling bad. I did have, yesterday there was some really uncomfortable energy that came across for a little bit, but it didn't last a long time. But it was really just, I felt like it was coming from the Divine Masculine, just that fighting, angry, conflict energy, but it wasn't my own. So that's why it was so uncomfortable, because you can't really identify where it's coming from. You just feel uncomfortable inside your body, which is the cause of a lot of triggers when you feel that way. But just know that you pick up other people's energies. So for the true twins, what is the advice today? And everybody take a deep breath. What's the advice? Okay, we have Archangel Metatron, which is specific to the Divine Masculine, and Nature, which is number 3. Okay? That's the underlying energy. The affirmation says, I thank, bless, and love the entire nature kingdom. So again, so important in grounding with all this, difficult energy near the full moon. The card that came out is Archangel Metatron, which is number 27, which is the Ace of Wands. Okay, that's that new creative inspiration as well as a new passionate sexual new beginning. Okay, 27. And it's Archangel Metatron, who is that passionate energy, who I always get as in charge of the Divine Masculines. And sometimes I see him as that King of Wands. So maybe he's King of Wands as the Emperor is getting on their butts. Okay, 27 is also 9, which is of compassion, universal selflessness, and endings. You are blessed to receive this card, for the mighty universal angel Metatron, who is coordinating the ascension of the planet, is touching you. He is illuminating your aura with his golden orange light, which is interesting because that golden orange was the coloring I was getting from the what's the flower called? You know, the flower, the middle as the Divine Feminine. Okay. He is illuminating your aura with his golden orange light as he works with your stellar gateway chakra. Your message is to relax and allow Metatron's wings to enfold you, which could be the wings in the shark picture. Okay. Ask to visit him at his ascension retreat in Luxor during meditation or sleep so that you can receive his guidance. This may come through his thought, whisper, or feeling. When you ask sincerely for help on your ascension journey, and the Spirit's connecting with me, thank you, Metatron, Metatron will open new doors for you and guide you. The affirmation is, I attune to Archangel Metatron today. Okay. So, call in Archangel Metatron, okay? If you need protection or just want his guidance, okay? Maybe open up your talents more fully. Maybe call on him to ask him about that. The past life deck for the true twins. Take a deep breath. What is the guidance for the true twins? What's the guidance? What is the guidance for the true twins today? What is the guidance? Unrequited love and love life. Okay? And again, this is unrequited love of self. This is your love life. And red roses. And my daughter just sent me some roses for my birthday, so we have that energy here with us. Okay, so this underlying energy is the love life. It has a little bit of a red tint to this card. And then the card that came out is unrequited love. Okay, and this also looks like a scorned woman. Okay, the shark. So, just saying, could be a karmic who's coming, who's the shark, who's pissed, okay? But just to be love, and in difficult situations, leave. Even if you're at a party, leave, okay? Don't, it's not about cowering either. It's about standing in your truth. There's no reason you can't reply to someone, but if anything, it, you know, accelerates, that's something you definitely want to, you know, leave. So, and there may be a past life of unrequited love, and it may have to do with your twin. It may not have to do with your twin, but it has to do with the wounding of it. So that might be something you might want to meditate on. Unrequited love. And you have had unrequited love from your twin, obviously, because you haven't been able to be with him until now. You may have been for a time, but not your whole life. Okay, and it really is just that, you know, she's never done what she wanted to do for herself, not really. She may have seemed to be doing things for herself, you know, she may have been bossy, right? But she's not happy. And now she's really not happy because she has unrequited love, so, just saying. We know what that feels like, right? But don't forget, for you, as a divine masculine or a divine feminine, unrequited love always has to do with disconnect from yourself, okay? Doesn't matter what the outside situation is. It's always about disconnect from yourself. Because as you connect with your higher self, you will always draw into you that high vibration, okay, that matches you. You just have to sustain it. It's not that you can't achieve it a lot of the time. It's about sustaining that energy. Okay, so for the journey of love, take a deep breath. All right, what is the advice from the journey of love for the true twins? What is the advice for the true twins? That's too many cards. What is the advice for the twins today, the true twins? What is the advice? Here we go. Sacred convergence. Not quite the same, but same series. Convergence, divergence, sacred convergence, number 28. It is the reflection of it, right? Okay, number 28 is the Two of Wands, which I always see as the twin flames, because in the Sirian Starseed deck it is literally two flames. We talk about the flames separating from Jesus today, given to his apostles. It's also a one of new beginnings. And that's the underlying energy, sacred convergence. So instead of divergence, convergence, bringing everything back together, seeing everything on the same page. The language of love. The card that came out for the twins is Sensual Awakening. It's number 64, which is the 10 of Swords, right? Which is that betrayal or end of pain and suffering, but still in it, okay? 64 is also a 1, so we have two ones here, very much about new beginnings. It's just getting through the end of this pain here, the betrayal, like say one last, push, which is this full moon, to get into the new beginnings, okay? And there's a lot of swirling going on here, a lot of different vortexes. This is the convergence, right? We have convergence underneath, and then we have the convergence picture in the sensual awakening about, see all these vortexes converging? And it's very chaotic, but it's also very sensual at the same time. So I'm going to read to you what it says. Okay, 64. All right, sensual awakening, number 64. The Ten of Swords. With the sacred temple of your body, your soul experiences the vast buffet of life made manifest. Your sensuality is a way for your soul to express appreciation, pleasure, and joy. Your sensuality is much like your creative energy. It needs to be expressed regularly, otherwise it can be muffled under a fuzz of too much thinking. You're being called to experience your sensual nature again, Spirit's connecting. You are beautiful and vivid, striking and appealing. Allow your sensual appreciation for yourself and others to flow and enjoy this unique experience of being a soul awakening and a body awakening. It's all love. This oracle brings you guidance that your sensual nature needs to play, and it doesn't require an external lover to do so, though that is one way, of course. It can be expressed through massage, creative art, spending time in nature, swimming, dancing mindfully. Dancing definitely came up this week. And feeling the sun or air on your skin, drinking aromatic tea, or taking a bath. Play with what feels good for you and enjoy the indulgence. It will bring you renewed energy, and apart from that, it's fun. Okay, and not a bad recommendation for full moon energy, right? To keep you nice and calm and balanced. The poem reads, I dare not touch my heart's desire that sings a melody so still, and lights within a yearning fire a void that you alone can fill. I cannot say how my heart aches, nor speak the words as embers burn. Such blessings come to those who wait, a love that asks not in return. An open soul a risk must bear, to love without restrictions held, to reach another level rare, where two embraced as one are meld. To taste surrender's nectar sweet by piercing through the veil so thin, and bathe in joy as tears release, a promised dance begins again. Okay? So it's bringing up about, no restrictions. To allow yourself to be sensual and allow the dance to begin. And what did I start it out with? The games begin. Okay? So let the games begin. It might be a sensual dancing game. So allow it all. But, as soon as you relax and you think you're like your old self again, because you get relaxed, you're not paying attention, you're not being conscious, that's when you can get knocked off balance, because something might come in that doesn't resonate with you and it'll knock you off balance. So just be aware of that. Okay? So make sure you drink your water, get your rest, get out in nature today for sure, or get some exercise, or both, but definitely meditate, and make sure you drink your water, okay? Rise and be loved, guys, and have an amazing day.